what I see with clients and women with Hashimoto's is this sort of stuff. This is empirically what I find, but the research is there to back it up. But there are a lot of patterns and common themes I see a lot with Hashimoto's. So this is why it's very important. Now, let me start with this. Conventional medicine, as much as we need it, it's also got has a lot of downfalls and shortcomings. And so they run off the biomedical model, which is they look at the biology, the biochemistry, and they give you drug and medication, that whole thing, which I'm sure you're very much familiar with. And that's important, but you can't just stop there. We can't stop there. Integrated medicine and what we do and what I do is we look at all the other things like the biochemistry, of course, and all the nuances of that are missed in conventional medicine, which is why medications aren't enough. But or diet and exercise and supplements for that matter is much more involved too. But the environmental things, the psychosocial things, epigenetic trauma, and mental emotional states as well. And this is just these are all the things that have to be addressed if we're going to completely get the best. If we're going to try to get the best results with the Hashimoto's in our own health, we need to look at all these parameters, these different areas and fields of health. Okay. Now, let me now move forward and show you. So, this is a good example of what happens when one of the things I see a lot in Hashimoto's people who go through abandonment, abuse, are children of alcoholic parents. They have a sort of parents who are controlling. These are real common traumatic situations. And what it does, and this is why it's difficult for people to figure this out because they might be aware of the experience, but they don't really understand or see how much of a toll is taken on the body. Because one of the ways to deal with it is to repress emotions or suppress emotions. So the difference here is that suppression is intentionally, consciously avoiding emotions. You know it's there. You know you have grief. You know you have anger. You know you have unworthiness. But you're avoiding it, numbing it out through buying things, shopping, smoking, drinking, alcohol, binge eating, whatever, anything you can think of, anything that's addictive, honestly. Repression is sort of this unconscious thing, usually happens when we're a child. And, if, say, for example, we're witnessing our parent, our mom or dad go through something stressful and we don't know how to deal with it, we might zone out, numb out, and we repress the feelings of fear or grief. And it happens just as a way to survive. And then what happens later in life is that we don't know that we did that. So we lose touch with ourselves. We have lost intuition. We don't have a good sense of our gut feelings. And then that's difficult because we don't realize that it's going to affect our behaviors. And then we don't understand how people behave and act with us. And basically, it can lead to more trauma, ironically. So it's tough, right? It's like a big snowball effect, which is why the only way to stop it is to be aware of our history and our past through the biology timeline and see and get help with support, digging up the emotions that are there and seeing what's there, because that's what it's about. If you can deal with the emotions and heal that, then you can recalibrate and normalize everything. It just takes a lot of time. But it is possible 100%. Now, here's another example, another illustration that will show you the same sort of thing. My argument has been this: it's not about protocols. You can do all the protocols through the diet and your supplements and your exercise, but in your detoxes and cleanses, but it's not that. It's really not. It is the environment. If you are a workaholic, you've been caught in toxic relationships, you're toxic with yourself, criticizing yourself because of your weight and your image and how you look. And then you're, say, sick with autoimmune disease and you're in bed all day and you're tired all the time. You're waking up at 11 p.m. or you have to take care of your kids, but you're too tired to get out of bed and you're napping all day. All these little things, they put stress on the child-parent relationship, right? Like I talked about. So the stress from that affects the child. There's stress that's brought into pregnancy. If you have a child, you get pregnant. That if you're not dealing with it, and then maybe there are new stresses you're exposed to during pregnancy. You go through a motor vehicle accident, you have gone through some financial stressful things, job things, domestic life stuff. And that also can affect the child, the fetus, and in utero. So it's always about the environment of your life and your history, the environment of the child, and it's all about environment for everybody. So these sort of things they happen for a reason, right? And the behaviors that you're caught in, fight, flight, or freeze or fawn response, is again, like I said, something that you're doing as a way to cope and resolve the pain and trauma that you went through. And you have to just figure out and look at it and reflect on it with support, of course. You really can't do this alone. Um, you you can see clearly eventually why that happens, and then that's actually what opens the door to healing your Hashimoto's, because you're not flipping the switch. You're not stuck in fight, flight or freeze response, fight or flight response every second of the day. Because once that happens and cortisol is up and down all the time and adrenaline's running all the time, you can't heal the thyroid in that way. It's damaging. Cortisol that's chronic is actually pro-inflammatory, and you exacerbate the inflammation that's already there, which is why no amount of diet changes and cutting out this and taking LDN and medications, yes, they might be helpful and needed, but they're not going to really get you out of this. It's all back to your lifestyle. Okay. This is why it's so important.